A very good morning. It's just past 8 this Monday morning and we are back again with the breakfast show. I'm Rukma and over the next 1 hour we take you through the major happenings from across India and the world. Chaos and confusion in JNU campus as masked vandals go on the rampage. Students injured and hospitalized in the attack. Our reporter brings us all the latest. Union ministers express their condemnation of the incident as police succeed in calming the situation. The BJP begins its nationwide outreach program for the Citizenship Amendment Act. Details of the tragic killing of a young Pakistani youth from the minority Sikh community there. In international news, Iran and the rest of the Middle East react to the US assassination of powerful Iranian Quds Force chief Qasem Soleimani. Details of the fallout of the death of Soleimani, India's stand on the issue conveyed. Other international news as well as news from the world of sports and the newspaper headlines published from the national capital, New Delhi. But first, the headlines. All-round condemnation of JNU campus violence. Home Minister Amit Shah speaks to Delhi Police Chief, orders inquiry. HRD Ministry summons university authorities for review. Bharatiya Janata Party steps up mass contact drive in support of Citizenship Amendment Act. Home Minister Amit Shah and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh lead the campaign of door-to-door contact. Party aims at contacting 3 crore families in next few days. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds telephonic discussion with US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on evolving situation in the Gulf region. Also holds conversation with his Iranian, Omani and UAE counterparts, conveys India's concern at the levels of tension. Iran declares complete withdrawal from 2015 nuclear deal while Iraqi parliament passes resolution for removal of all US troops from Iraq. Fresh rocket attacks at US embassy in Baghdad. 3 US citizens killed in attacks at US base in Kenya. In cricket, first T20 international between India and Sri Lanka in Guwahati called off without a ball being bowled due to wet outfield caused by a spell of heavy rain just after the toss. Second match of 3-match series to be played tomorrow at Indore. And in our top story now, violence and vandalism by masked men inside JNU campus yesterday has attracted condemnation from all quarters. Following the violence, Home Minister Amit Shah spoke to Delhi Police Commissioner and ordered an inquiry by a joint CP level officer. Violence broke out at the JNU on Sunday night as masked men armed with sticks and rods attacked students and teachers and damaged property on the campus, prompting the administration to call in police, which conducted a flag march. At least 28 people, including JNU Students' Union President Aisha Ghosh, were injured as chaos reigned on the campus for nearly 2 hours. Meanwhile, the HRD ministry has sought a report from the university administration about the incident. The ministry has termed the incident as very unfortunate and highly condemnable, saying such acts of violence and anarchy will not be tolerated. In a tweet, the HRD ministry said it has come to the ministry's notice that a group of masked people entered the JNU campus, threw stones, damaged property and attacked students. This is very unfortunate and highly condemnable. Such acts of violence and anarchy will not be tolerated. Police has been called by JNU administration to maintain law and order situation in JNU. And hundreds of students from different universities in the national capital staged a protest outside the old Delhi police headquarters at ITO after violence broke out at Jawaharlal Nehru University. Students from JNU were joined by those from Delhi University and Jamia Millia Islamia. After the delegation of students held talks with Delhi police, the protest was lifted late in the night. Delhi Police PRO MS Randhawa held a meeting with a delegation of students and teachers after violence broke out at Jawaharlal Nehru University. The delegation, comprising students and teachers from JNU, Jamia and Delhi University, submitted an application to Delhi Police PRO with 4 demands, including urgent medical assistance to injured students and arrest of the accused behind the violence. Delhi Police has said the situation inside JNU campus is normal, while adding that police deployment has been undertaken at strategic points inside the campus. Police also said that all hostel areas have been secured. In a tweet, Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal said the violence in JNU against students and teachers is highly condemnable. Directed Delhi Police to take all possible steps in coordination with JNU administration to maintain law and order and take action against the perpetrators of the violence. The situation is being closely monitored. And Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, both alumni of the Jawaharlal Nehru University, condemned the violence at the varsity on Sunday. Sitharaman said the government wants universities to be safe for students. In a tweet, Nirmala Sitharaman said, "Horrifying images from JNU, the place I know and remember was one for fierce debate and opinions, but never violence. I unequivocally condemn the events of today. This government, regardless of what has been said the past few weeks, wants universities to be safe spaces for all students." Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar too condemned the violence at JNU. In a tweet, the Foreign Minister said, "Have seen pictures of what is happening in JNU. Condemn the violence unequivocally. This is completely against the tradition and culture of the university." And joining us now is our correspondent Vishal Baristo, who's covered this story on the ground. Vishal, a very good morning to you after that extremely dramatic evening yesterday. Well, widespread condemnation of the violence in JNU last evening. As someone who was present when it was all going on, take us through what you saw and how the situation was brought under control.
Well, a very good morning to you, Rukma. Indeed, a very sad incident reported last evening from the Elite Institute of India, the JNU, which has been hogging the limelight for all the wrong reasons for quite some time. Yesterday, when I visited the campus, the police deployment was there, and the police had taken over the campus from inside. The gate was locked for security reasons, and after the Home Minister talking to the Delhi police on the phone, asking for a full report and asking the police to take all possible steps, followed by the instructions from the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. Police have taken control of the university, and after some time, the situation was under control, and this is what the DCP South Delhi said on camera. And when I visited the university, there were students shouting slogans, venting out their anger against the police, against the incident what had happened yesterday. And according to the eyewitnesses, a function was going on that belonged to one of the student union, and when it was on, masked men attacked students, vandalized the university property, and they were able to reach up to the girls' hostel, in which the president of the JNU, Aichi Ghosh, was also injured and wounded badly. Around a score of students were admitted in the trauma center of AIMS, and then the all the students, a group of students rather, they also gathered outside the Delhi Police headquarters, which was holding a press conference on the incident, shouting slogans. So a lot of politics has also erupted after the incident, and a war of words has erupted from different political background. This is a very, very sad incident. The way the former students of the university have reacted also shows that they are also deeply hurt after what had happened yesterday. But let me tell you that the police are in total control. They also held a flag march inside the campus, and till late night yesterday, the shouting of slogans continued outside the university campus, outside the gate of the university. Meanwhile, some of the teachers, they have also been injured in this incident, and certainly a very unfortunate incident. The security of the university also comes under the scanner as to how miscreants who were masked and armed with sticks, they could vandalize the university property and attack students. So a lot of answering has to be done by the Delhi police, who have been asked by the Home Minister himself to conduct a thorough inquiry on the incident and come up with a detailed report and also punish the miscreants so that this incident never happens again in the university. Rukma?
Right, Vishal, considering that the perpetrators were masked, do the police have any leads and well, are there any have any leads as to who they were and what was their aim? Who were they targeting? And was the attack related to any recent incident within the campus?
Well, Rupa, this is for sure that armed miscreants, they vandalized and attacked the students inside the campus because we have camera grabs, and I'm sure Delhi police is also looking about the details. But this is for certain that a tug of war between two separate student union has been on as far as the JNU is concerned, and which has also spread to other universities as well. Because of this violent incident, many universities, students from other universities also joined the JNU students belonging to different student organizations. But certainly the CCTV footage and the camera grabs will be investigated, and the police will have to come out with a detailed report. How did it start? Whether these men part of the university? How did they manage to sneak inside and reach up to the hostel of the girls? And now these are the questions that Delhi police will be answering, and a detailed inquiry will clarify as to how this thing happened and who are these people. But this is for sure that the government has given clear instructions to the Delhi police that law and order should be maintained in the university, and all the miscreants, whosoever they may be, must be punished and brought to books.
Right. Vishal, also tell us what is the condition of the injured, and are JNU authorities taking any precautions, or will it be business as usual for the university, considering that today a new week begins?
Well, Rukma, since the incident is very fresh, I don't think that it would be business as usual, because security would be deployed there, and Delhi police is also treading the issue very cautiously. Remember, in the last incidents, when police entered the university campus, there was a lot of accusation and complaint as to how police entered the university. So this time, only after written request by the JNU, the Delhi police entered the campus and held a flag march. But let me tell you, the situation is quite tense, though under control. And it would be very difficult to say that all is well as far as the educational process of the institution is concerned. But certainly, police is in control of what had happened last evening. But definitely, there's a lot of anger, and it is being vented against a different part of the system. A group of students were venting their anger against the police, and they were accusing that the police did not act on time. But the police is right Delhi police is right on its part, because unless they were asked by the university authorities, they could not have acted. And security of the university itself should have acted on time. So these are the accusations and counter accusations by different student union groups. But definitely after the incident, it would be very difficult to say as to how the classes would begin. But Delhi police is taking all precautions and all necessary steps to maintain law and order and to maintain normalcy as far as the university campus is concerned.
Right, Vishal, thank you very much for those inputs, and thanks so much for joining us there. Well, moving on now, the BJP began a 10-day nationwide mass contact drive from yesterday to mobilize support for the Citizenship Amendment Act. During the 10-day-long campaign, party leaders and workers will contact 3 crore families to garner support for the CAA. Addressing a booth Karyakarta Sammelan in New Delhi, BJP President and Home Minister Amit Shah accused the opposition parties of misleading the people on the provisions of the Citizenship Amendment Act, resulting in violence across the country. In his address, BJP Working President JP Nadda said that the BJP has vision, policy and a strong leadership to take the country to new heights.
BJP President and Home Minister Amit Shah has accused the Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and other parties of misleading the people on the provisions of the Citizenship Amendment Act, resulting in violence across the country. Addressing a convention of BJP's booth-level workers in New Delhi on Sunday, the BJP President said that the recent attack on Nankana Sahib Gurdwara in Pakistan stressed the importance of the Citizenship Amendment Act to provide relief to religiously persecuted minorities in the neighbouring country.
नानकाना साहब के से पवित्र स्थान पर हमला कर सिख भाइयों को आतंकित करने का काम पाकिस्तान ने करा है। ये जवाब है उन सारे लोगों को जो सीए का विरोध कर रहे हैं। मुझे बताइए, कल को नानकाना साहब पर जिन पे हमला हुआ वो सिख भाई यहां आए तो कहां जाए? वो भारत में आएंगे या कहां जाएंगे?
In a no-holds-barred attack on Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, Amit Shah accused the AAP chief of misleading people and failing to fulfill his election promises, even as he exuded confidence that the BJP will form the government in Delhi.
दिल्ली में नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने वाली है। यही कार्यकर्ता जिन्होंने एमसीडी भी जिताया, लोकसभा भी जिताया, मैं उनके भरोसे कह रहा हूं कि दिल्ली में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
Addressing the convention, BJP Working President JP Nadda said that the BJP has vision, policy and a strong leadership to take the country to new heights. He said that BJP will achieve its target in assembly polls through dedication and hard work of its workers.
किसी पार्टी के पास नेता है तो नीति नहीं, नीति है तो नियत नहीं, नियत है तो कार्यक्रम नहीं, कार्यक्रम है तो कार्यकर्ता नहीं। यह भारतीय जनता पार्टी है जिसके पास अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर से मोदी जी का नेतृत्व को लेकर, देश के नेतृत्व से लेकर के बूथ तक का नेतृत्व भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पास है। हमारा नेता उपस्थित है।
The convention was attended by union ministers and assembly poll in charges Prakash Javadekar, Hardeep Puri and Nityanand Rai. Delhi BJP President Manoj Tiwari, Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, BJP MPs Ramesh Vidhuri, Meenakshi Lekhi, Gautam Gambhir, among others. With Bikramjit Singh, Bureau Report, DD News.
Leading the BJP awareness campaign, Home Minister and Party National President Amit Shah visited homes in Delhi's Lajpat Nagar and informed residents about the benefits of the amended citizenship law. He also distributed literature on the subject during his visit to several homes in the area where a significant population of refugees who came to India from Pakistan after partition reside. Amit Shah urged people to take out their mobile phones and give a missed call to a toll-free number launched by the BJP to register support for the changed law. And Union Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the Act does not take away anybody's citizenship in the country. He added that the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 gives Indian citizenship to those migrants who are victims of religious persecution in Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan.
ये कानून न किसी हिंदुस्तानी पर लागू होता, न किसी हिंदुस्तानी की नागरिकता छीनता है, न किसी की देता है। ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ लागू होता है हमारे वो भाई जो पीड़ित होकर हिंदुस्तान से आए, हिंदू, सिख, पारसी, ईसाई, बुद्धिस्ट, जैन, जो इन 3 मुल्कों से अमानवीय व्यवहार से भारत आए। ये देश हिंदुओं का भी है, मुसलमानों का भी है, ईसाइयों का भी है, सिखों का भी है, बुद्धिस्ट का भी है, जैनों का भी है। और जब हमारे नेता प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी कहते हैं सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास, तो हम सबकी चिंता करते हैं।
Defence Minister and senior BJP leader Rajnath Singh participated in the Maha Jan Sampark Abhiyan in Lucknow. Rajnath Singh visited the residence of retired Justice Khemkaran and Dr. Sudhir Srivastav, where he presented them a book to clear citizens' doubts over the Citizenship Amendment Act. Rajnath Singh accused the opposition of creating confusion among members of the minority community over the CAA. He said that the law is not against any particular religion.
सभी अल्पसंख्यक भाइयों से मैं अपील करना चाहता हूं कि अनावश्यक रूप से आपको गुमराह करने के लिए और निहित राजनीतिक स्वार्थ को पूरा करने के लिए यह गलतफहमी नागरिकता संशोधन अधिनियम को लेकर पैदा की जा रही है। आप किसी भी सूरत में दिग्भ्रमित न हो। किसी भी भारत के नागरिक, चाहे किसी भी जाति, पंथ, मजहब अथवा धर्म का हो, इस नागरिकता अधिनियम को लेकर कोई भी प्रतिकूल प्रभाव नहीं पड़ने वाला है।
And Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath began the party's door-to-door campaign to support the CAA from his home turf of Gorakhpur. He slammed the Congress for creating confusion over the Citizenship Amendment Act and assured people, especially the minorities, that no discrimination will ever be made with them.
में देश का विभाजन करके कांग्रेस ने इस देश को जो डंक दिया था और पाकिस्तान के अंदर, बांग्लादेश के अंदर जिन अल्पसंख्यक समुदाय के लोगों को मरने के लिए छोड़ दिया गया था, आज वे अगर शरण लेने के लिए भारत के अंदर आए हैं तो उन्हें नागरिकता देना ये हमारा दायित्व है, उनकी सुरक्षा करना हमारा दायित्व है और ये नागरिकता कानून उसी का हिस्सा है।
Union Finance Minister and senior BJP leader Nirmala Sitharaman led the party's CAA mass contact campaign in Rajasthan capital, Jaipur.
पार्लियामेंट में जवाब देने के बावजूद गलत फहमी फैला करके जनता को गुमराह करने की कोशिश जो हो रही है, उसके खिलाफ भारतीय जनता पार्टी आज सड़क में पहुंच करके जनता के घर घर पहुंच करके हम विस्तार से एक्सप्लेनेशन दे रही हैं।
An MOS for the Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region, Jitendra Singh, participating in the BJP's mass contact drive, asked people to understand the political motives of opposition parties behind the protests.
आज एक देशव्यापी अभियान प्रारंभ किया जा रहा है भारतीय जनता पार्टी की ओर से, जिसमें परिवारों के साथ जाकर के संपर्क करने का प्रयास रहेगा। समझाने की आवश्यकता यह है कि जो लोग सिटीजन अमेंडमेंट एक्ट का विरोध कर रहे हैं वो या तो शायद उस पूरी जानकारी का अभाव है उसके कारण या फिर किसी और कारणों से प्रेरित हैं।
And in Bhopal, in Madhya Pradesh, Bharatiya Janata Party leaders launched the mass awareness campaign to garner support for the CAA. In Morena, Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar launched the public awareness campaign in support of the citizenship law. And senior BJP leader and Union Minister Sadanand Gowda launched the BJP's door-to-door campaign from Bengaluru. Besides the general public, Sadanand Gowda met social activists who volunteered to create a public awareness on the Act as part of the awareness program of the CAA. Sadanand Gowda also addressed a series of residents' meetings. In Dasarahalli Assembly segment, he said there was an overwhelming response to the door-to-door campaign on the CAA in Bengaluru.
We are visiting various houses right from morning till evening and explaining the realities, the truths, what these Congress people are creating some confusion. We want to explain everything to the people, and we are asking the so-called intellectuals to just give an idea to the people in and around them, so that this confusion should be taken away.
Senior BJP leader Shivraj Singh Chauhan reached Guwahati in Assam to participate in the party's nationwide campaign to garner support for the CAA. Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that the act will not take away anyone's citizenship but will grant it.
हमारे प्रतिपक्षी दलों ने कई तरह की गलतफहमियां फैलाने का प्रयास किया है, हम उनको दूर कर रहे हैं। सीएए में जो प्रावधान है वो हम सब जानते हैं, पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश, अफगानिस्तान में जो माइनॉरिटी अल्पसंख्यक जो हैं और जो धार्मिक प्रताड़ना का शिकार होकर वर्षों पूर्व जो देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों में आ गए हैं, उनको नागरिकता देने का प्रावधान है केवल अल्पसंख्यक।
Slamming West Bengal state administration over the violence that erupted during the protest, BJP leader Babul Supriyo said that Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is misguiding people by spreading lies about the Citizenship Amendment Act.
जो खतरनाक अपीसमेंट पॉलिटिक्स का खेल ममता बनर्जी खेल रही हैं, इसके खिलाफ आज से हम लोग एक बहुत बड़ा जनसंपर्क अभियान जो है आज से हम लोग बंगाल में शुरू करने जा रहे हैं। एक लाइन की झूठ जो सरेआम झूठ है और इस झूठ के सामने हम सत्य को लेके इसका मुकाबला करेंगे। सीए नागरिकता सिटीजनशिप देने का एक एक्ट है, किसी से सिटीजनशिप छीनने का एक्ट नहीं है।
And as part of the Maha Jan Sampark Abhiyan on the Citizenship Amendment Act, Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yedurappa held interactions with people in Bengaluru, accusing the Congress of creating confusion among the Muslim community's members. He said that not even a single Muslim will be affected because of the CAA.
Creating confusion among the Muslim community. I am telling you that not even a single Muslim community people will affect because of this act. You know very well, almost all the Prime Minister of India, they have supported this. Unnecessarily our Congress people now they are creating problem to create confusion among the Muslims. That's why we are going door to door to campaigns. Because of that reason only they are creating problem, because they don't have any other issue. That's why they are creating this problem.
And the Supreme Court is scheduled to resume hearing on the Assam government's plea for re-verification of the names included in the National Register of Citizens, the NRC. The court will conduct hearing on the National Herald. The court will also conduct hearing on the National Herald income tax case. The Apex Court has given approval to the Income Tax Department to continue the tax assessment of Congress leaders Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. However, the court had put a restriction on any action before the next order. The tax assessment of both the leaders will be done for the financial year 2011 to 12. And the Supreme Court is also likely to hear the plea of Tata Sons Private Limited, challenging the December 18th decision of the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, restoring Cyrus Mistry as the executive chairman of the group. In its appeal, Tata Sons Private Limited has also sought a stay of the NCLAT's verdict as an interim relief. And the cold wave continues in most parts of North India. Although it was sunny in Delhi yesterday, according to the Met Department, the day will remain cloudy in the city today. The national capital may receive light rains during the day. In Himachal Pradesh, meanwhile, the Met Department has issued orange and yellow alerts for heavy rain and snowfall for the next 2 days. The Met Department has predicted heavy rainfall and snow in Himachal at high altitude mountainous areas and high altitude mountainous areas from today till Thursday. There is the possibility of fresh snowfall in Jammu and Kashmir as well today. The Met Department has said that light to moderate snowfall may occur in most parts of Kashmir in the next 48 hours. A 40-day Chilai Kalan is on in Kashmir. There's a lot of cold in these 40 days and chances of snowfall are very high. Cold wave continues to prevail in Punjab and Haryana as well. In Rajasthan, people are facing the brunt of the wave. And in another incident of minority killing in Pakistan, Ravinder Singh, a 25-year-old Sikh who was killed by unidentified persons in Peshawar. His body was found under Chamkani police station area. Investigations are on into the matter. Meanwhile, India has strongly condemned the targeted killing of this member of the minority Sikh community in Pakistan. The Ministry of External Affairs has said Pakistan should stop prevaricating and take immediate action to apprehend and give exemplary punishment to the perpetrators of the crime. The MEA has said the government of Pakistan should act in defense of their own minorities instead of preaching sermons about it to other countries. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath addressed a press conference in Lucknow on Sunday and declared that Defence Expo 2020 will be held in Lucknow in the month of February. Prior to the conference, Yogi Adityanath had held a meeting with the Raksha Mantri along with officials regarding Defence Expo 2020. Addressing the media, Raksha Mantri expressed the hope that Uttar Pradesh will become a destination for defence manufacturing and aerospace manufacturing in India.
एरोस्पेस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में भारत का ही नहीं बल्कि दुनिया का एक इंपॉर्टेंट डेस्टिनेशन बने, ये हम लोगों की सोच है। अब तक लगभग 925 एग्जीबिटर्स ने अपना रजिस्ट्रेशन भी करा लिया है और 2018 में यह नंबर अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 702 था। और निश्चित रूप से डिफेंस एक्सपो यह केवल एक इंपॉर्टेंट इंटरनेशनल इवेंट ही नहीं होगा बल्कि उत्तर प्रदेश के लिए और देश के लिए एक हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट होगा जो कि लखनऊ में आयोजित होने जा रहा है।
Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Prakash Javadekar will confer the first Antarashtriya Yog Divas Media Samman in New Delhi on Tuesday. The Yoga Awards are being conducted to acknowledge the positive role and responsibility of media in disseminating the outreach of yoga in India and abroad. The Antarashtriya Yog Divas Media Samman will be conferred on media houses under various categories. 11 Sammans will be conferred under the category Best Media Coverage of Yoga in newspapers. 8 Sammans will be conferred under the category Best Media Coverage of Yoga in television. 11 Sammans will be conferred under the category Best Media Coverage of Yoga in radio. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar talked to his Iranian counterpart Mohammad Javad Zarif on Sunday. The External Affairs Minister in a tweet said India remains deeply concerned about the levels of tension in the Middle East. He added that both of them agreed to remain in touch. Dr. S. Jaishankar also held a telephonic discussion with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on the evolving situation in the Gulf region. The discussion with his U.S. counterpart comes amid spiraling U.S.-Iran tensions over the killing of Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani. In a tweet, the External Affairs Minister said had a telephonic discussion with Secretary of State Pompeo on the evolving situation in the Gulf region, highlighted India's stakes and concerns. The External Affairs Minister also discussed the tense situation with Omani Foreign Minister Yusuf Alawi. In a tweet, Dr. S. Jaishankar said, discussed with Foreign Minister Yusuf Alawi of Oman, the tense situation in the region reaffirmed our shared interest in the stability and security of the Gulf. Appreciated his perspectives on the current situation. EAM Dr. S. Jaishankar also had a telephonic discussion with the Foreign Minister of the UAE. In a tweet, he said a warm conversation with Foreign Minister Abi Zayed of UAE exchanged views on recent developments in the region. Meanwhile, in Iran, the cabinet has announced the country's decision to take the fifth and final step to reduce commitments to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, popularly referred to as the 2015 nuclear deal. The cabinet said Iran will observe no restrictions in operational areas including enrichment capacities, enrichment percentage and the volume of enriched material as well as research. The statement added that Iran's nuclear program faces no kinds of restrictions in such areas and will go on solely according to the country's technical needs. However, the cabinet stressed Iran will continue cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency as before. Iran is ready to go back to its commitments once the sanctions are removed and the country gets benefits from the nuclear deal. According to the statement, the cabinet assigned the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran to take the necessary measures to this end in coordination with the Iranian president. Under the 2015 accord, Iran had agreed to limit its sensitive nuclear activities and allow in international inspectors in return for the lifting of crippling economic sanctions. However, the deal was unilaterally abandoned by the Trump administration in May 2018, and tensions between Washington and Tehran have been simmering since then. In Iraq, 2 rockets hit near the U.S. Embassy in Iraq's capital yesterday, hours after the ambassador was summoned over U.S. strike that killed top Iraqi and Iranian commanders. Sunday's attack was the second night in a row that the Green Zone was hit and the 14th time over the last 2 months that U.S. installations have been targeted. A third rocket simultaneously hit a family home outside the Green Zone, wounding 4. Ties between Iraq and the U.S. have deteriorated after the American drone attack on Friday on the Baghdad International Airport that killed Iran's Major General Qasem Soleimani and top Iraqi military figure Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis. In response, on Sunday, Iraq's parliament called on the government to oust U.S. and other foreign troops from the country. A special session of parliament passed a resolution saying that the government should cancel its request for assistance from a U.S.-led coalition. Some 5,200 U.S. soldiers are stationed across Iraqi bases to support local troops, preventing a resurgence of the Islamic State jihadist group. They are deployed as part of the broader international coalition invited by the Iraqi government in 2014 to help fight IS. Meanwhile, NATO ambassadors will gather in Brussels for an urgent meeting convened by the head of the military alliance to discuss the situation in the Middle East after a U.S. drone strike in Baghdad killed a top Iranian general. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg organized the meeting after consultations with members of the alliance. NATO ambassadors' meet was organized at short notice after the alliance decided on Saturday to suspend the training mission in Iraq over security risks. In the United States, meanwhile, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has defended the U.S. airstrike which killed Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani, warning that the U.S. will respond if Iran retaliates. Pompeo said the U.S. administration is committed to protecting American lives and the United States will have a decisive and vigorous response to retaliatory action by Iran.
President Trump is focused deeply on keeping Americans safe over the long haul. Preserving and protecting, defending America is the mission that we have. It may be that there's a little noise here in the interim and that the Iranians make the choice to respond. I hope that they don't. President Trump has made clear what we will do in response if they do, that our response will be decisive and vigorous, just as it has been so far. But we're going to take all actions necessary, not only in Iraq, but throughout the region, to protect Americans, American citizens, as well as my diplomats and service members who are serving overseas. We're always going to do the right thing to protect America, and I am confident that the decision we made to take down this terrorist, this designated terrorist who had inflicted so much harm over such an extended period, was the right course of action to reduce risk to America.
And US President Donald Trump has vowed major retaliation if Tehran launches attacks to avenge the killing of Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani. Trump, speaking on Air Force One on his way back to Washington, also said he would impose very big sanctions on Iraq if it follows through on a parliament vote in support of US troops being expelled from Iraq, amid anger over the death of Soleimani in a drone strike near Baghdad's international airport. And now joining us is our correspondent Amritpal Singh for more on what's happening in the Middle East right now as a fallout of the assassination of Qasem Soleimani. Amritpal, a very good morning to you. Well, even as the Iraqi parliament has voted for the ouster of US troops in response to the assassination of Qasem Soleimani, it appears that many of the countries there, they really have no choice because, well, Trump has responded by talking about very strong sanctions there again.
That's right, Rukma. The situation is escalating fast, and at least if we look at the rhetoric emanating both out of the U.S. administration and both Iran and Iraq, it does not augur well for peace in the region, with the Iraqi parliament passing a vote for expelling the U.S. Soldiers from Iraq, and the U.S. president responding by using words like that he will charge economic sanctions like Iraq has never known, and the ones that Iran imposed on Iran would look tame. He's clearly these are escalatory statements coming out from both sides. If you look at Iran, the U.S. president also saying that he will not shy away from taking down 52 sites in Iran, including cultural sites, though there is opposition within administration ranks in the U.S. But these are escalatory statements that are coming from both sides. Now we'll have to wait and see that how the crisis evolves. Now that Iran has announced that it will not abide by the 2015 restrictions put on it in the nuclear deal, and will go ahead with enrichment the way it wants to. So the words at least, and the rhetoric at least, is escalatory.
Right. Meanwhile, what role could other countries as peacemakers in the region, what role could they play at this point? India making its stand clear in the Dr. S. Jaishankar speaking with the foreign ministers of Oman, as well as other countries in the region, as well as US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. So how do you see the situation panning out? Could anybody emerge as a peacemaker here?
But I don't think India will have a full-fledged role as a peacemaker, but the statements emanating out of India, as Dr. S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, tweeted that he has had a conversation with Foreign Minister Zarif and also with Secretary Pompeo. If you take into account the words used by Dr. S. Jaishankar on his conversation with Foreign Minister Zarif, he said, noted the developments have taken a very serious turn. India remains deeply concerned about the levels of tension. We agreed to remain in touch. On the conversation with Secretary Pompeo, he said, spoke with Secretary Pompeo on the evolving situation in the Gulf region, highlighted India's stakes and concerns. So India, in that sense, is not a direct player, but India would want, because the wider region affects India, so India would want the tensions to de-escalate. But it's really, the role that other powers like Saudi and NATO will have to play to diffuse tensions, and some sort of mediation has to come from countries which are neutral in that sense to de-escalate the situation. But we know that the NATO ambassadors are meeting in Brussels today to take stock of the situation. What the need of the hour really right now, both for the US and Iran and Iraq, is to stop giving, escalatory rhetoric and try and de-escalate the situation. But India, because is in the in neighborhood, and if the situation gets worse, will directly be affected. So India would want the situation to de-escalate, and that is what is clear from the words of the foreign minister, and he trying to reach out to the major players in the region and trying to see how how he can talk to the players to see that the situation can be de-escalated.
Right, Amritpal, thank you so much for joining us there and for those inputs. And we now go across to Lalit Jha, PTI correspondent in the United States, who's speaking with DD News. Well, Lalitji, neither in the midst of escalating tensions in the Middle East after the assassination of Qasem Soleimani, well, it appears neither of the key players are willing to tone down the rhetoric at this point. How do you see this situation panning out? How do you see the situation at this point?
You're right. The situation is escalating every passing hour in the region. The rhetoric from both sides are going up. You must have seen the tweets from President Trump and his latest statements, where he has hinted at hitting the cultural sites in Iran, which is quite uncommon, which the U.S. forces always make sure that wherever they go for war, they don't strike on the cultural side. But this has to. Now, President Trump is saying that's again U.S. will hit those sites, cultural sites. Yeah.
Right, and as far as India is concerned, while not being a key player, India has conveyed its concerns to both the key players. Dr. S. Jaishankar has spoken to both Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. He's also spoken to other foreign ministers here in the Middle East as well. In this context, how do you see this situation? Could any power,
in India,
Lalitji, could any power in the Middle East emerge as a peacemaker? Could any organization interfere at this point?
Once India is very uniquely placed. India has a very good relationship with the United States. Its strategic relationship is increasing every month, every year. You must have seen the readouts or the joint statement that came out after 2+2 meeting in Washington, D.C. last month. And then from here, our External Affairs Minister actually went to Iran. India has very good historical and cultural political relationship with Iran. India is very uniquely placed to work on both sides to bring some kind of a peace between the two countries. It depends upon the Indian leadership how they want to go out. But but the rhetoric from both sides are increasing every day.
Right.
Yeah. And India has a security interest, energy interest. If this war breaks out, India would suffer. Its energy security would be greatly impacted.
Right, and as the United Nations said when it first happened, when the incident first broke out, that at this point nobody can afford another war in the Middle East. But when we look at what Mr. Trump is saying, when we look at the decision of the Iran Parliament to completely back out of the 2015 nuclear deal, and also on what the Iraqi parliament has voted for the ouster of US troops. How do you look at the way these events are panning out?
You're right. Right now, all the key players are heading in a direction which is not conducive to peace. But we hope that better sense will prevail on all these key players, and they will take a decision which will lead them towards peace and negotiation and talks, and not the other way around, which is not in anyone's interest, neither in the interest of the United States nor in the interest of Iran over there, and India would be a major casualty of that. Right, we have a huge diaspora in that region. our energy. We have a huge supply line of energy from that coming from that part of the world.
Right, and meanwhile in the United States, a very quick word from you about what, in the beginning there were conflicting responses to Mr. Trump's decision. What about now?
It still remains the same. While you can say the majority continues to support President Trump's decision, there is unanimity in one part that Iran poses a major security challenge to the United States in the region. But they are voices of dissent, a strong voice of dissidents, in particular from the Democratic Party and those who are senior diplomats and officials, those who served in the previous Obama and other Democratic administrations. Those are saying that this is not the right time to engage in the war with Iran.
Right, and also on the part of the public, we are hearing about protests against war, demonstrations against war from across the United States.
That has been a key feature of the democratic system here. If you remember, when U.S. went to war with Afghanistan and Iraq, you must have seen those visuals coming out from various parts of the country where people were protesting, regularly protesting against the then President George Bush.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Lalitji, for joining us and for your inputs. And the last rites of Qasem Soleimani will take place tomorrow in Iran. Hundreds of thousands of mourners turned out in Iran to receive home the remains of Qasem Soleimani, the general killed by a U.S. drone strike in Iraq. In Ahvaz, where Soleimani served during the Iran-Iraq War, 1980-88, mourners chanted "Death to America." Soleimani was the architect of Iran's sphere of influence across the Middle East and was considered to be the country's second most powerful man. His assassination marked a significant escalation between Iran and the U.S. Some sports news now. The first T20 international between India and Sri Lanka at the Barsapara Cricket Stadium in Guwahati was abandoned without a single ball being bowled due to damp patches on either side of the pitch. Earlier, Indian skipper Virat Kohli won the toss, opting to bowl, but the start was delayed due to rain. Even after the rain stopped, play couldn't start as water had seeped onto the pitch, creating damp patches on both ends. The groundsmen tried everything to get the pitch match ready but failed. Finally, the umpires decided to call off the game after their final inspection at 9:30 p.m. The second T20 international played at Holkar Cricket Stadium, Indore on Tuesday. And here's a quick look at the top stories published in the newspapers from the national capital. First of all, we go across to the Times of India, and in fact most newspapers have taken about the incidents at the Jawaharlal Nehru University campus which took place yesterday. The Times of India says 30 injured as mass goons go on rampage inside JNU, and most papers both inside and on the front page have looked at various aspects as they happened yesterday. And then another top story in newspapers is, of course, the escalation of tensions in the Middle East. The Times of India again, now the Hindustan Times talks about how Iraqi MPs have voted for the ouster of U.S. troops. So the rhetoric high on both sides, key players, neither of the key players looking to back down. And then again we have the Indian Express talking about news back home, the BJP to fight Delhi polls on Modi name and CAA agenda. Well, interesting story there about how no name has been given out as a chief ministerial candidate, but the party says it will fight the polls in the name of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Well, that's all we have time for as far as the newspapers are concerned. It's the 6th of January today. Let's take a look at the major events that took place on this day in history.
On this day in 1838, Samuel Morse's telegraph system was demonstrated for the first time at the Speedwell Iron Works in Morristown, New Jersey. On this day in 1852, Louis Braille died. He was the inventor of a system of reading and writing for use by the blind or visually impaired. His system remains known worldwide simply as Braille. On the same day in 1885, Bhartendu Harishchandra, known as the father of modern Hindu literature as well as Hindi theatre, passed away in Varanasi. On this day in 1929, Mother Teresa arrived in Calcutta to begin her work among India's poorest and sick people.
A library is a place that is a repository of knowledge and experiences in pages upon pages of the sacred written word. It's a place where one can learn about science, history, literature and a wide range of subjects. One can mostly find libraries in cities and towns and sometimes in villages as well. But today we're taking you to a one-of-a-kind library in Kerala, located in the middle of a dense forest. Take a look.
You must have come across several libraries in big cities and towns, but the library that we're introducing you to now is in the middle of such dense forest that you would have to walk for several kilometers to reach it. Till some time ago, it had been running out of a small tea shop. Idamalakuri is a small tribal village which is located in the midst of dense woods in Kerala's Idukki district. One has to cross a fairly varied terrain and obstacles in order to reach the settlement of Madhuvan tribals. But to ensure that the children of the village could have the benefit of having books for company, teacher of the village's primary school, P.K. Muralidharan, took upon himself the task of starting a library. The person who came to his aid in this endeavour was village tea shop owner P.V. Chinnathampi. Both worked very hard to put the library together. There were times when they carried bundles of books from the city on their backs to bring them to the village. The library got launched with 160 books, but since then, it has received support from local journalists and others. Now, the library has found space in the local school.
Although people are becoming more literate these days, the reading habits are going down. Hence, our Adivasi Panchayat has decided to set up a library in the midst of forest so that the tribal people can develop reading habits.
Called Akshara Library, now this facility has over 1,000 books. None of the books in this library are either bestsellers or romances. It is translations of great Tamil poets, local literature and books on Mahatma Gandhi. Parents from nearby villages also bring their children on foot to visit the library. The light of knowledge is being spread even in dense forests. Muralidharan and Chinnathampi have shown that anything can be achieved with patience and persistence. The smiles of students while poring over Akshara Library's books are ample evidence. Rashmi Roja's report from Idukki, DD News.
And time now for the weather report. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of the Breakfast Show. Before we go, we leave you with glimpses of China's annual Harbin International Ice and Snow Festival, which kicked off yesterday with spectacular fireworks. Take a look and enjoy. Namaskar.